Like and subscribe right now, or this spider will crawl on your face when you're sleeping. In the darkest depths of the ocean, you are bound to be intrigued by what's to come. Some fascinating, thrilling, and bizarre, while others downright scary. Let's dive in and explore some of the most extraordinary discoveries from the bottom of the ocean. Human remains. 26 feet deep inside the water, this daring archaeologist, Octavio Del Rio, stumbled upon some 8,000-year-old human remains inside a cave in Mexico. In fear that these precious skeletons might be looted, Del Rio has not disclosed the exact location of his finding. However, he does mention the prehistoric remains are discovered in a cave that got flooded during the last ice age, which is close to Tulum. The remains include shattered skulls, individual bones, and bone fragments. Tadpole Paradise. Inside a remote lake on Vancouver Island, British Columbia, a diver named Maxwell Hone was blown away by the breathtaking view of thousands of tadpoles gliding past him inside the water. He estimated the mesmerizing river of black tadpoles might be consisting of 3 million of them at a time. According to Hone, it was a swarm of friendly western toad tadpoles who were on their daily journey in the lake towards the shallow waters. He further revealed that these tadpoles like to eat lily pad roots and algae, two things quite common on this lake's surface. Birdcage Cave System. One of the most beautiful and largest submerged cave systems, sitting right in the middle of the jungle in Mayan, Mexico, is an amazing cave system called Sistema Nohoch-Nachich, meaning Giant Birdcage System. Jonathan, along with Todd, teamed up with the cave explorer Christine Lowell to have a dip inside this 215-mile deep cave. The boys were not only thrilled, but amazed to see such a serene labyrinth of tunnels decorated underneath the crystal clear water. Giant whale carcass. From tiny worms, fishes, and even octopuses, a whale carcass laying on the surface of the water floor is much like a feast to these creatures. Well, scientifically speaking, whale falls are an important part of the underwater ecological system. It can nourish an entire ecosystem of deep-sea creatures, from large scavengers to microscopic bacteria, providing these opportunistic eaters with a sudden and immense source of food. A single whale itself is enough to provide animals with sustenance for up to 2 years during its initial scavenging stage. And from flesh to bones, these creepy creatures make sure they don't leave any evidence of a whale fall. Long-lost castle. When the Kaban Dam Lake started to hold water, the Hastek Castle in Turkey started to get submerged in water in 1974. The castle was beautifully carved into the mountains along the Euphrates River. It had several rooms with bedrock, narrow galleries, and loopholes for the proper ventilation. But because of a lack of rainfall in the year 2021, water levels at the dam have fallen to a noticeably lower point, resulting in the resurfacing of this long-lost castle. And besides its harsh climatic condition, historians and tourists are excited to get a closer view of this elusive structure. Fish with a transparent face. A researcher, Bruce Robinson, jumped into the deep waters near the shore of Central California, and what he discovered at depths of 2,600 feet underwater was rather very shocking. It was a fish, but with a transparent face. There was fluid filled in a shield that covered the top of its head. In actuality, the barrel-eye fishes are known for their alien-like appearance and the ability to rotate their eyes, which they mostly use to hunt prey. And fun fact, they are colorblind, as where they live, it is so dark that these fish mainly focus on brightness and dullness of light to recognize the potential prey. Wedding ceremony. After 4 years of togetherness, a couple from the UK decided to tie knots deep inside the water. Initially, they were going to get married in a crunch, but considering how expensive it could be, they went for something different. While putting their wedding attire on, both of them took their goggles and got inside the water in order to exchange the vows using an underwater tablet. The happy couple got married in the 864,000-liter tropical oceanarium at the Bear Grylls Adventure Center in Marston Green, Birmingham. Brine pool. Being denser and saltier than the rest of the seawater, the water is separated to be shaped up into brine pools, rivers, or lakes. This highly concentrated saline water is, however, extremely toxic to some of the sea creatures. But during an exploration in 2015, divers were stunned to see how some of the sea life, including beds of mussels and tubes of worms, have adapted to survive in such habitats by processing these seep gases. Near the Gulf of Mexico, the largest brine pool is called the Hot Tub of Despair. It is a circular pool 12 feet deep with high salt content and a warm temperature of around 19 degrees. The pool is lethal enough to knock down on so many unlucky animals who dare to fall into it. Legendary sunken ship. After sinking off the coast of Antarctica 107 years ago, Ernest Shackleton's three-masted ship, Endurance, has been discovered at the bottom of the Weddell Sea. According to the explorers, the legendary sunken ship was found roughly at a depth of around 10,000 feet below. But that's not the surprising part, because after getting crushed by the ice, the sunken ship must have shattered into pieces. Well, that's not the case with Endurance, as it was found perfectly preserved. From the ship's paint to cooking utensils and even wood, everything seems intact. Maybe it was due to ice that the marine life couldn't get the chance to eat the stuff up. Lost village reappears. The town of Kiran once used to be home to around 900 people in Turkey until 1950, when the authorities actually decided to make people homeless by replacing the village with a high-end hydroelectricity power plant. The village was flooded as soon as the project began in action, leaving just the tip of the church bell above the surface of the water. But now, for the first time in decades, it is resurfaced as the lake was drained out for some repair work. However, it will be a matter of weeks until the repair, and the village will be doomed again beneath the waterbed. Golden treasure. During the combat of Spanish succession in 1708, two-masted ships were drowned under the ocean near Spanish Galleon by the British, and now pretty much everyone forgot about the incident. But in 2015, the ships were discovered in perfectly fine condition. But wait till you see the bigger picture. Both the ships were filled with $17 billion in gold and treasure worth billions of dollars. Besides this, there are clay pots, cannons, and other artifacts waiting to be studied. And now, let us move on to our subscriber pick of the day. This image was sent to us by one of our subscribers. Similarly, if you ever wish to know more about an image you come across, just send it on over to us. Who knows, we might even feature it in one of our videos. Today's subscriber pick is a picture of this diver swimming beside a huge underwater sea monster. Actually, this gigantic creature is nothing but a colony of corals who managed to make their home out of a huge shipwreck that pretty much resembles a mysterious shadow in the background. As soon as the current flows around, most of the shipwrecks tend to turn into reefs to help these creatures settle down, and the process is called coral colonization. Well, that's how life works for everyone. Sometimes these fascinating invertebrates form such large colonies that they kind of shape up into massive monsters, but are completely harmless. Sunken aircraft. A diving site in the Jordanian coastal city of Aqaba has a submerged aircraft lying alone on the water floor. Well, it was the Aqaba Special Economic Zone Authority when they came up with this plan of submerging the body of an out-of-service military aircraft from the Royal Jordanian Air Force to increase the number of coral reefs and marine life. Attracted by many divers, the city of Aqaba has become a leading destination for divers and tourists because of this ancient aircraft immersed between the blue waters and tiny, colorful fishes. caged skeletons. Las Vegas has poured out 5 skeletons from the waters of Lake Mead. The diver was startled when he stumbled upon the skeletal remains of people perched in lawn chairs and trapped in cages at the bottom of the river. The skeletons were found covered with silt and algae, like they had been there for ages. Well, after the authorities got involved, it turned out that the remains were actually made out of plastic to increase tourism by hyping up the curiosity of divers. See you next time!